Think scaling AI is hard? Think again. With Watson X, you can deploy AI across any environment. Above the clouds, helping pilots navigate flights, and on lots of clouds, helping employees automate tasks. On-prem, so designers can access proprietary data, and on the edge, so remote bank tellers can assist customers. Watson X works anywhere, so you can scale AI everywhere. Learn more at ibm.com/WatsonX. IBM. Let's create.
ABC Wednesdays.
I'm Joan, and I'm your first Golden Bachelorette.
Joan's getting a second chance.
This is about everybody like me, navigating, trying to find love at this age.
I wouldn't be here if I didn't have hope.
Because love never ages.
Golden age doesn't mean you're old. Old is a state of mind, like a lot of living to do.
The Golden Bachelorette, Wednesdays on ABC and stream on Hulu.
Want to make a podcast? Spotify's got a platform that lets you make one super easily, distribute it everywhere, and even earn money, all in one place for free. It's called Spotify for Podcasters, and here's how it works. Spotify for Podcasters lets you record and edit your podcasts right from your phone or your computer. So no matter what your setup is like, you can start creating today. Then you can distribute your podcast to Spotify and everywhere else podcasts are heard. Video podcasts are also available on Spotify, and when you want to take conversations with your fans to the next level, Q&As and polls are the best way to get them talking. With Spotify for Podcasters, you can earn money in a variety of ways, including ads and podcast subscriptions. Ever since I discovered Spotify for Podcasters, I feel so supported in the creation and distribution of my show. Spotify for Podcasters hosts masterclasses, office hours, and more to help creators develop and fine-tune their skills. I highly recommend you give it a try. Download the Spotify for Podcasters app or go to spotify.com/podcasters to get started. What's up, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Welcome back to 80/20. My name's Lily. I'm your host. And today's episode, we are talking all things 2020, who I'm going to be in 2020, or who I want to be in, you guys, 2020's over. 2021. That's a mouthful right there. I feel like 2019 rolls off the tongue. 2020 rolls off the tongue. 2021 does not roll off the tongue. It's a mouthful. We're going to be talking all things 2021. So, the title of this episode is New Year, New Me, because I feel like everybody and their mother or brother or whatever that saying is loves to kick off the year and be like, this year is the year I'm changing. New year, new me. It's going to be all different. It's going to be all new, and everything's going to be perfect, and this is going to be my year. We're going to do it all this year. I'm going to be everything for everybody this year. And if you've ever said something along the lines of that, you probably know that it never really works out. I think there's some statistic that's like 97% of people's New Year's resolutions are done by January 10th or something like that. I feel like that statistic is way off, but you guys get the gist. Not a lot of people actually complete their New Year's resolutions, and most of the time those resolutions are totally unrealistic. So in this episode, I wanted to just kind of go through what a realistic, let's use the word intention for the year might look like and how to set those. And I also wanted to touch on my plans for the year, my challenges for at least the new year. I think I kind of like to split up the year into segments or like sections, like January, February, and like half of March kind of go together in my mind, and then it's spring, kind of like the seasons. That's kind of like how I like to divide it up. But I'm going to talk about how I am setting my intentions for the new year, what I'm doing to challenge myself this year, and what this year is hopefully going to look like for me. But as we know, it is unrealistic in these times to set a prediction for ourselves even, because who the heck knows what's going to happen a week from now, a month from now, let alone a whole year from now. It'll be interesting to look back on this episode in a year, 2021, the end of 2021, going into 2022, and just listen and reflect. So that'll be interesting. I encourage anybody who doesn't already, find an outlet where you can log your life, whether that's a podcast. It doesn't even matter if you never even post it, but even just a podcast, or you don't even have to post it. Put it on like Anchor. That's the platform that I use. Put it on Anchor and just talk about your day. And, you know, if people listen, cool, but if no one listens, at least you have it. You have this log of your life. Or start a YouTube, start a blog, even just write in a journal. Journaling is the coolest thing. And the cool part too is that you can look back on your life. And I was listening to a podcast I was listening to Mads Tads Beyond the Bike. I literally love her podcast. She's a dream guest of mine. I would love to have her on my podcast. She said something along the lines of, if you don't look back at yourself a year from now and cringe, then you're not doing it right. You're not growing. You're not growing like you're supposed to be growing. To the people who are listening to this and you've followed me since high school, like, I am not the same girl that I was when I started my channel in 2017. Yeah, I was 17 years old, had literally no clue what I wanted to do with my life. Obviously still figuring that out. I feel like no one ever knows what they want to do with their life. But at least now I'm on the right track. And I look back at old videos from when I was in high school, or just old like journal entries that I wrote. I think about like the person that I was, and I am not that girl anymore. And even the girl I was a year ago is not the same person that I am today. And so I just think that it's so important to somehow track your growth. So if you don't already, I encourage you to log your life somehow. All right, kind of pivoting a little bit. I just wanted to toss out the idea that you don't need a magic day to start. Just go ahead and start. Like, you don't need it to be January 1st to start. You don't need it to be a Monday to start. You don't need to check all these certain boxes to start, because if you keep waiting for like the quote perfect unquote time to start, there's never going to be a perfect time to start. Once you finally do start, you're probably not going to know what you're doing. There's probably going to be some bumps in the road. You're probably going to have some hiccups. But with anything in life, you're going to have to practice in order for things to go smoother next time. You're going to have to learn. There's always a learning curve when it comes to everything. Like in my own life, in my own goals, when it comes to, you know, I mean, most of my goals are centered around like health and wellness, because that's where I tend to put, I would honestly say like 85 to 90% of my focus is on health and wellness, because that's obviously like what I'm studying right now. That's what my whole like YouTube and, you know, this podcast and everything is really what my whole life is shifting towards. So I think I definitely spend a lot more time thinking about it than like the average person, but that's also the space that I'm in 24/7. So like that makes sense. So obviously a lot of my goals are going to be centered around like my personal progress, and then where I want to take my different platforms in the realm of health and wellness. And to be completely honest with you guys, it has taken me probably like a year and a half of discovering why did I say discovering like that? Discovering what works for me when it comes to the foods that I'm eating, the workouts that I enjoy, you know, what routine works best for me. And when I first, I guess, embarked on my health and wellness journey, it was the summer of 2019. I just finished my freshman year of college, and I just felt gross, to be completely honest. I just, you know, I mean, you're a freshman in college, you're partying, you're eating like crap, you're not really taking care of yourself, you're stressed to the max, just all these different things. And I just felt like I just needed a change. I needed something different. And, you know, I had a bunch of these health problems. My stomach was always hurting me really, really bad. Still have stomach issues. But as I've gone through this year and a half of just trial and error, basically, I've been able to get into this routine of what works for me right now in this phase of my life. What worked for me, you know, a year ago isn't necessarily what's working for me now, and vice versa. I think that it's really important that when you're setting your intentions or your goals or your resolutions, or call it whatever you want, they're all kind of the same thing, although we'll kind of go into the difference between goals and intentions here in a second. But I think that it's important to remember that whatever your goal is, whatever your intention is, whatever you are striving for, shoot for the stars, but at the same time, be realistic about it and give yourself grace, because you are not going to be the highest, most perfect version of yourself day one, day zero. Day zero is when you put pen to paper and you write down, I will ... fill in the blank this year, or I want to whatever within the next month. Say you are someone who wants to start going to the gym more, but you've never gone to the gym a day in your life, but you would love to start going because you just want to feel good, because movement makes you feel good. It does. Say you've never gone to the gym in your life, but you make a New Year's resolution that you're going to go to the gym every day this year. That's going to be really, really hard, because you are literally going from 0 to 100 so quickly. That's like trying to take my Honda Accord on that, what's that highway in Germany that you can like go as fast as you want? Whatever the highway's called, I literally can't think of the name right now, it escapes me. That's like taking my Honda Accord on that highway in Germany and trying to push 0 to like 150 like that. It will not happen. It can maybe push 83. But a good place to start would be to say something along the lines of, I'm going to start going to a workout class so I can get some practice under my belt. Say I'm going to go to Orange Theory, and Orange Theory is great. I've been to a couple classes, literally love them so much. It does cardio, you do rowing, which I love, and you get to spend some time on the weight floor. So you get to incorporate all these different movements. You learn so much by going to workout classes, and then it makes it that much easier to go to the gym on your own, because you already kind of have an idea of what you're doing. If it's realistic for you, you could call up a personal trainer, hire a personal trainer to give you a tour of the gym to help you feel comfortable in that space, get some one-on-ones, get comfortable with the different movements, and then see if you're ready to kind of tackle it by yourself. That's the other cool thing too, is that you don't have to do all these things by yourself. There are always going to be people out there that can help you with all of your problems. And also, if there's a problem that you have that hasn't been solved yet, solve it yourself and then turn around and sell it, because that's how you make a lot of money. Real quick, before I go any further, I can't believe I didn't even say this at the beginning. I posted this on my Instagram story the other day, and I think a lot of you who listen to the podcast follow me on Instagram, but just in case you don't, I did want to touch on this because I think that it's so important, especially when we're talking about New Year's resolutions. I think there's such a big difference in my mind, at least, what I consider to be a realistic, intentional, goal-setting practice, New Year's resolution, call it what you want, but then there's a whole other side of the spectrum that includes all of these juice cleanses and, post-holiday detoxes and cleanse your body, do this diet, whatever. And a lot of those are popping up right now. And I wanted to remind you guys that as much as it's totally 100% okay to always try to level up, always try to challenge yourself, always try new things, because that's how we learn, how we get better at our craft, how we figure out what we like and what we don't like, is trying new things and giving things that scare us a go. What's the word I'm looking for? Shoot, don't you hate it when you have like a really good thought and you're like, damn, that could be like on everybody's Pinterest boards, but like it just totally escapes you. Anyway, it's always good to try to level up yourself. It's always so cool to try to strive to be the highest possible version of yourself, and a good way to get there is to challenge yourself. But a horrible way to try to get there is trying to do like a 3-week crash diet, fad diet, trendy diet, whatever. The diet industry makes billions and billions and billions of dollars every single year off of specifically women's insecurities, and as much as men suffer from this type of stuff too. I know, I see my analytics, I know a lot of you guys are girls, and specifically women, it's all of these men that are pushing all these trendy diets, and it's the corporations, and I could do a whole podcast about this. Yeah, they're targeting a lot of women's insecurities and saying which bodies are in this year, which body types are, no longer in. I mean, really think about it, like the body types that were quote trendy in the early 2000s are a lot different than the body types that are trendy, quote, now. But all of that is such bullshit and so unrealistic. I was listening to, I can't remember if it was on Gretchen's podcast or Tori's podcast because they did a little crossover thing, but Gretchen Garrity is the host of Happy Hour podcast and Tori is the host of Manifest with Tori DeSimone. But Tori said something like, my body isn't a trend, it can't go in and out of style. When you see all these trendy diets and stuff that are happening right now, I just want to remind you guys that that's not necessarily the most realistic approach. And I encourage you to spend your time and money on a realistic approach, one that fits your specific needs, not just one that was printed in some book that you found on Amazon or some 14-day challenge on YouTube. Like, it just doesn't really work that well. And the best way to shift, if you want to make some sort of lifestyle shift or some sort of improvement, if you want to challenge yourself, just take baby steps. Just start doing one new thing each week or each month. If a week seems overwhelming, try each month. Maybe you just try one new vegetable in your dinner each week. Maybe you just start cooking from home more. Maybe you challenge yourself to try that workout that totally scares you. I talked about Orange Theory earlier. A lot of people are scared of Orange Theory. If you're scared of Orange Theory, freaking go. And you'll be like, oh wow, that actually wasn't that bad. Or like for me, that's running. I literally hate running. Like, why would I ever go for a run when I could do anything other than run? Maybe I need to run more. That's probably a sign that I need to go run more. Maybe it's just putting your phone in a different room when you go to bed and getting like a real alarm clock so you actually sleep at night. Maybe you just unplug from social media. Maybe you delete social media from your phone for a few days because it's so good for your mental health. And like I said earlier, if you have no idea where to start, there are people out there who can help you solve your problems. You do not have to do this alone. And if you're listening and you're like, I am feeling so overwhelmed, I don't think that I can do any of these things, call a coach, call a friend, call a doctor, call a therapist. Like, there are so many people. Call your mom. I mean, my mom always knows what to do. You know, I call my mom with a problem and she's like, oh, just do this. Problem solved. Should probably listen to her more often, to be honest. But regardless, I just want to remind you guys that food is your friend. Food is fuel. We work out here for fun. We work out because it feels good. We work out because it's so good for our bodies and our minds. The mental release that you get after a workout, whew, that's different. If you're listening to this and you have written down something unrealistic, something completely unrealistic, you know who you are, and this is for you. I'm telling you that you need to put your mental health and your well-being before any certain look that you need to achieve, before any certain, number that you need to achieve on the scale, because that is just bullshit. It's all bullshit. Just know that I'm here for you. I love you all, and I really just truly want happiness and well-being, and there's truly a balance. But you gotta come at it with the idea that you and your health and your well-being and your mind are the number one priority. So let's talk goals versus intentions. So you're probably wondering, how do I even get to this place where I decide what I want to work on? Say you're a person with this laundry list of things that you think in your mind that you need to fix. In reality, the list probably isn't that long. Even when I was looking at where I would like to be a year from now, I just wrote out this whole list of things, just like little nitpicky things that I thought that I wanted or thought that I needed, a year from now. In reality, there's only a few things in the present moment that I can be intentional about that might possibly get me to where I want to be a year from now. But like we talked about earlier, a year from now is a long way away, and 1,000,001 things are going to change between now and a year from now. Before you go write down this wish list of things that you want to do this year, while it's great to, shoot for the stars and have your eye on the prize and whatnot, what's more important is what you're doing right now, what you're doing tonight, what you're doing when you wake up tomorrow morning that might possibly get you to where you want to be a year from now. So I like to set intentions, and I like to do it, in chunks, I would say. I don't really like to say a year from now, I would like to be da-da-da-da-da, because who knows who I'm going to be a year from now. But in the present moment, I really want to work on waking up earlier. I really want to work on going to bed earlier. It's about 8 o'clock now. Hopefully I can be in my bed with my head on the pillow in an hour. And then when my alarm goes off at 6 a.m., my feet are going to hit the ground. And I'm going to have a great freaking day because I chose it. I'm going to have a great freaking day. And those are some things that I can do right now that I can be intentional about. I can be intentional about sticking to my morning routine because I know that it's going to get me where I want to go. I know that it's going to give me more hours in the day than what I had last month. Fueling my body with a green juice in the morning is going to set the tone for the rest of the day. It's going to energize me. It's going to give me what I need. It's going to keep me from feeling that caffeine crash, by like 11. So I would much, much, much rather you set your intentions for the new year rather than the goals for the new year. Because then when you write down your goals, you're like, I want to blah, blah, blah by this date. And, you kind of set these boundaries on yourself. And it's good to have deadlines and stuff, but like, wouldn't you want to just change the little things? Wouldn't you want to take baby steps? Definitely different types of people require different, types of motivations, but I'm all about being intentional with my routine. So that's the avenue I like to take. So I kind of briefly touched on what I am going or what I'm being intentional about in the present moment, but I kind of wanted to open up to you guys about how I got to where I am trying to be right now. A few days ago, I would say it's probably like 2 weeks ago at this point, I had what I like to call a bathroom floor moment, and I just finished taking my math final, and I never felt worse. Well, I've definitely felt worse, but I never felt worse after a final than that final right there. But it just sucked feeling like, you just knew, like I just knew that I failed. And I did end up failing. I didn't fail the class though, which is really nice. I thought that I was going to, but I didn't fail the class. I totally passed, which is cool. But yeah, it just sucks knowing that you worked so hard at something just to have it completely shatter and just like blow up in your face. And in that moment, I just felt like I was doing everything wrong. I felt like I should be at a different place in my life. I just felt like I was disappointing my past self. I felt like I was disappointing the people around me. I felt like I wasn't where I was supposed to be. I was just really torn apart by that. I was like really struggling because I have about 3 semesters left of college, and a lot of my YouTube so far up until this point has been college focused content. If you go on my channel, my most popular videos with the most views, that's always what they say, oh, look at your most popular videos and then make more of those, and that's how you get subscribers. And like I looked at my most popular videos and it was moving into college, and I'm like, but I'm not gonna ever move into college again. Like, this is it for me, and I was like, I don't want to be a college YouTuber. College isn't the only thing that defines me. This grade doesn't define me. I don't want to be defined by what I've been over the past 2 years. I want to be defined by what I'm passionate about. I want to be defined by, the way that I treat people, the way that I love my family and my friends, the things that I do for myself, the things that I do for the people around me, the person that I truly am, online a little bit, but mostly offline, what matters in my real life, my personal life, the people who know me face to face. Because when you're online, talking through a mic, this is a one-sided conversation. Everything that you guys have to say comes after. And that's what I'm really struggling with right now, is the idea that we can't talk. We can talk over DM, but it just kind of tears me up a little bit that I get to talk to you guys, but like you guys don't really get to talk back until after, and like that sucks. So it's like this podcast is already out in the world after, and like, yeah, we talk in the comments and DMs and stuff, but I'm just like, damn, I just wish that we could actually talk face to face. So anyway, that's everything that went through my mind crying on the bathroom floor a couple weeks ago. I don't have to be defined by the person who started my YouTube channel 4 years ago. I don't have to be defined by the girl who moved in her freshman year. I don't have to be defined by the sorority girl that moved into her sorority house sophomore year. I don't have to be defined by these popular vlogs that sure did well in the moment, but they're not the person that I am today. That's not a reflection of who I am at all, actually. So I actually went through and I privated a lot of my old videos. And I still kept up like the moving vlogs because although I do like watching back those videos, when I watch it, I am not watching myself. I don't recognize that girl in the videos, which is weird for me because obviously it's me, but like I don't know her. Like that's not me. I can just feel it, and I've been feeling it probably I'd say since like June, July. A shift is happening, and I'm so excited for it. And I feel like I've been taking the stairs. After that moment, my bathroom floor moment, I felt like I got on the frickin' elevator, like the express elevator to the frickin' top. And I just had this like feeling come over me where I was just like, holy shit, like I know what I need now. Like I know what I'm supposed to do. Like I'm not supposed to be defined by the person who I used to be. I'm supposed to be defined by the person who I am today. I want to be defined by the person who is the highest version of Lily. So I actually went on my notes section on my phone, and okay, this was from December 20th, 2020. So actually only like 8 days ago. I wrote down Lily 2.0. I spent 2020 working on her. January 1st, she will arrive. She's confident, she knows what she wants, she wakes up every day with the intention of being the best version of herself. She works hard for herself and her subscribers. She's a coach, a guide, a leader. She helps other girls become the best versions of themselves, feel good about themselves, and loves themselves. And she's grabbing 2020 by the balls and continues to wake up every day, kick ass, and repeat. Sorry if the editing was just weird there. I said the F word. I had to cut it out. But guys, even just like speaking that into existence just feels so good. So who's your 2.0? Or if you've already had a 2.0, who's your 3.0? Who's your 2.1, 2.2, 2.5? It doesn't matter. What's the next version of yourself look like? What is he or she doing? And what can you do right now? What can you do before you go to bed? What can you do tomorrow morning to get there? That's what 2021's about. I love you all so much. Have a great rest of your day, a great rest of your week. Next week, we'll be back with a very, very exciting guest. I'm so excited about this episode. You guys are going to love it so much. I already know it. If you guys want to keep up with me a little bit more, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. It is at Lily Rayco. Well, you don't do the at thing on YouTube, but it's www.youtube.com/LilyRayco. That's RAKOW or LIOYRAKW. Wow, that was really backwards. It'll be linked in the show notes for you guys. Or you can follow me on Instagram. It's at Lily Rayco, which will also be linked in the show notes. I hope that each and every one of you has the best day ever. Continue to wake up, kick ass, and repeat. Love you guys. See you next week.